Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and I'm imagining you're here to spend some money by looking at the Intergalactic Steam Summer Sale. So I'm here to give you guys my hot take. For those of you who don't know what this is, I literally just scroll down this sale list and tell you guys things I'd spend my money on. Often a complaint I get with this is that I don't recommend the right things, and if you don't know, I have made plenty of sale videos in the past, so if I don't recommend a specific title, it's probably because I already have. The first game I'd like to recommend is Kingdom Come Deliverance. It prices at $41.99, and at 30% off, I think this is the perfect price point for this game. I covered a lot of Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I really liked what I played, but there were a lot of bugs and obstructions with game mechanics that held me back from saying buy this at full price. At the price of about $40 though, that is absolutely a must-have in my opinion. It is not the RPG that has the choice and consequence you'd expect in the story. It's more so your playstyle and approach to certain scenarios, and thinking outside the box is quite rewarding in this game, like most old school RPGs. Furthermore, the combat is very unique in its own right, a steep learning curve if anything, and as a RPG lover, I really appreciate the unique directions we've seen RPGs go in this year. For example, Kingdom Come Deliverance, also Vampire, another one I'll be talking about in the future on the channel. This one lines up more with the hardcore RPG. I mean, you're constantly managing health, sleep, travel, making sure it's safe on the road, questing, all that stuff. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a very good RPG, especially for the amount of people that worked on it and the budget they were within. Scrolly, hello, we have the Dishonored franchise for 50 to 75% off. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so if you've never played Dishonored before, this is your chance to do so. I have positively reviewed each Dishonored game. One is probably my favorite stealth game of all time, and that's at $10 on the definitive edition, or if you don't want to do that, you can get it for $3. The first one still holds up incredibly well in the terms of story, gameplay freedom, and that gameplay freedom leads to different endings, so there is some replayability there. Same thing applies for Dishonored 2, and furthermore in Dishonored 2 there are two types of players. You can go in as Corvo or Emily, and not only do they have their own separate play styles, but also the choices you make and how they impact the grand vision of the story. Once again, lots of ways to play here. Lastly is Dishonored Death of the Outsider, and I really like the story in this game. Out of all these Dishonored games, I actually think Death of the Outsider has the best story, hands down, bar none. It is a standalone expansion kind of title. In answer to your question, yes, to understand Death of the Outsider, you should play the first two Dishonored games. If you are new to the series, start with one, of course. But Dishonored 2, this is one that I feel might have folks a little hesitant because at launch it had some tech issues and performance issues, especially on PC. I personally didn't encounter these at launch or after I played. My guess is that at this point in time, based off what I've read on patch notes and support from Arcane, the game functions just fine now on PC, so it should be okay, especially at the price of $20. You can get this whole series if we go with the definitive edition, Dishonored 2 and Death of the Outsider, $45 for 3 really good games, which if you're trying to save money, for example, we just looked at Kingdom Come Deliverance, I said $40 is worth that, or if you're looking for more bang for your buck, the entire Dishonored series is here for only a few extra dollars. Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun. Now I have a pretty big appreciation for Japanese culture, so these types of games tickle my fancy. This is a hardcore tactical stealth game. When it comes to gameplay, this game is very unique. I actually picked it up on my PS4 just to try it out. And when I started it off, this is nothing against the game whatsoever, but it just was at the time I was looking for more of an action-focused game, and this game didn't scratch that itch, so I had returned it. But from what I played, it is a good game. I played a good couple of hours into it. Battles are tough, and I know I've been recommending a lot of stealth titles, but we have one with Dishonored, which is more of the open-level stealth and exploration, where this is more so teamwork, using your squad to the best of your ability to crawl through the level without alarming anyone. Each member of your squad has unique skills that you have to utilize. Not only use them in a smart way, but at the right time, because in the first mission I actually used someone's skills way too much early on, and thus later on in the mission when I truly needed it, I was screwed and had to take a different approach. So yes, it didn't work out too well for me, but this is a title that I can wholeheartedly recommend if you're looking for a mixture of stealth gameplay and tactics, especially at the price of $20. Can't really go wrong here. Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition for $25. So if we look underneath, we can see this actually comes with new features like a first-person mode, the Insomnia City Ruins expanded map. Also, it comes with all the DLC thus far, the multiplayer expansion, and bonus items that you can use. Plus, there is actually modding for this game, and I've seen some ridiculous pictures for it. Granted, as I've gone back to this title, there's one thing I do have an issue with, and it is the combat. It's very much of a, while I played it on PS4, just holding circle. A lot of times I can get one hit without really knowing what's going on. It felt at times quite mindless, but what you have in Final Fantasy 15 is a beautiful world to explore, a lot of quests to complete, and while those quests don't have the best stories behind them, I think as a Bethesda viewer base, you guys appreciate a lot of the exploration style games and what worlds can offer and the discoveries you can make, and Final Fantasy 15 very much does that in an excellent fashion, which is surprising because JRPGs usually don't do that. They go down more of a different route, while Final Fantasy 15 is actually able to blend some Western and Japanese role-playing elements into this game. The story is probably the highlight of it all, although it is a little bit confusing, a little bit convoluted. It ultimately has a brotherhood of 4 friends on display. You can feel the bond. It's not forced. It happens naturally. It builds over time. And what a fantastic ending to this game. Considering it's also being supported for years afterwards, I can't help but think that this is a safe purchase at $25 as well, because if you like what you have, then you'll actually be able to play more down the line when DLC is released for it. Plus, each episode is a couple hours long. Then you got the multiplayer expansion for replayability. I mean, there's a lot in this package. For 25 bucks, pretty big steal. South Park: The Fractured Butthole for 20 bucks. I'm seeing that the reviews are mixed, which I was actually a little bit surprised about. I thought that this was a pretty good game. This is one that, based off those Steam reviews, I'd recommend maybe a little bit of additional research if this is one that you're very much interested in. I personally like the new changes to the combat system. It was still a tactical element, but the implementation of buddy skills, I think, added a layer of action that it desperately needed. I also like the new clothing system. Obviously, the crude humor in the game is the biggest standout. It's what really sets it apart from anything else. The jokes in the game are also one that will actually age well. It's not like the Stick of Truth, where a lot of the humor there was more along the lines of current humor that when you play it a couple of years later, you go, well, that's a dated joke because that happened X amount of years ago. Whereas Fractured Butthole is more so the jokes are within the context of the game, so it's funny no matter when you're playing, which I think was a pretty big issue with the Stick of Truth. The general consensus from folks is it's not as good as the original, so if you are a huge fan of the original, I'd say go in with tempered expectations, but at the price of 20 bucks, I don't think this is too big of a risk for you because you're getting it at 67% off. And for those who are really cutting costs, if you go to the games under $10 section, a couple of quick recommendations I can make for you are easily BioShock Infinite for 7 bucks. That's always a good one. Hollow Knight, that actually just came out on Switch, but if you don't have the Switch, you can get it right now on PC for $10, which is a great deal. It is a wonderful indie game. Ori and the Blind Forest, if platforming is your shtick, then this one has a beautiful story combined with one of the most wondrous art styles you can experience in a video game. I cannot wait for the sequel on the Xbox One. The Metro series is a combined $12 right now, and that's another package that is really top tier stuff, especially since Exodus is coming out early next year. It's definitely one that if you're trying to catch up on, this is a good time to do so. I really like the Metro series. I think 2033, now that it's been remade, is a much better game. And then Last Light has a great story, wonderful environments. Seriously, if you're a Fallout fan, this is right up your alley. Anyway, that's all I've got for you guys. If there are any sales you have questions about, fire away in the comments down below. With these types of videos, the community gets very interactive, and I try my best to get in there and tell you guys my thoughts on certain sales that maybe I didn't cover in this video here, so you don't feel like you missed out if I didn't talk about a certain game. So fire away with your questions. Let's all start interacting, sharing the best deals, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content we create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.